Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. My name is Henrik Bick. I'm here with the communications team at the Music Business Association. Glad to welcome you to the next session in our Common Ground webinar series. Today, you'll be hearing from our friends at Jaxsta, who will walk through the evolution of discovering and promoting talent in the age of metadata. But before I intro our host and get things started, I just want to touch on a couple of housekeeping notes. In order to connect with one another during today's session, be sure to use the chat box. You'll be able to network with one another and also with our presenter and myself. Just make sure that you change your chat setting to everyone, so that way we're getting your messages. There will also be a few opportunities for audience participation in this webinar, so be sure to, at the appropriate time, drop your answers into that chat box as well. At the very end of the session, we'll take questions for our presenter. If you'd like to submit anything that comes to mind during the presentation, be sure to drop it into the dedicated Q&A box on your Zoom dashboard. Looking to the future, we have a number of webinars coming up past today. And in fact, we just announced a couple of them recently. That includes a research presentation from Utopia Music and Media Research, an immersive audio presentation from Dolby, and a webinar that will discuss using song lyrics to open new revenue streams for artists and labels, featured by Lyric Find. You can find information on these webinars and more by visiting our website, musicbiz.org. It's right on the homepage, and you'll be able to register for these free sessions and more. Outside of virtual events, we recently announced our return to the JW Marriott Nashville for MusicBiz 2022, set to take place May 9th through the 12th. Registration for the event is open, as well as our call for presentations. So you have now through December 6th to submit your ideas for panels or presentations that will discuss a collaborative approach to financial growth in the industry, or to improve working conditions and create a more inclusive audience for those who are working in our industry. As I said, that date is December 6th, and you can find information about that as well as for registration on our website as well, right on the main page, musicbiz.org. Stay tuned in the coming months as we start to roll out program information for that event and more. For information outside of our website, be sure to follow us on social media as well, at MusicBizAssoc on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And finally, for those of you who have joined us today from our Metadata Summit, just a reminder that recordings from the sessions from day 1 and 2 are available via the Socio platform, and recordings of today's sessions will be available in the coming hours. So if you've attended the Metadata Summit and want to relive some of what you heard this week, or if you were unable to attend because of some timing issues, more than able to go and check that out on the Socio platform with your same login information. But enough from me. You're here to hear from Jaxsta. So I'd like to welcome to the stage at this time Jaxsta's Chief Marketing Officer, Beth Appleton.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much, Henrik and Aaron. Great to see so many names and some familiar names as well. Shout out to Howie and Jonathan. Great to see your names there. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here, and thank you for joining. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you. A united global music industry and collective of creatives and industry experts is so powerful. And I'm very proud to be here with you and have the opportunity to share some words and some insights. And I hope too that I'm going to gain insights and experience from many of you over the next hour as well. I'm here in Sydney, in Australia. I believe I'm the only one. That might not be the case. It's very early here. Since I am in Australia, I would like to begin with an acknowledgement of country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm working from today and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Before I introduce myself properly, I want to say huge thanks to partners and now friends who have supported Jaxsta from our humble beginnings 8 years ago. To Portia, Nicole, Henrik, Aaron, Jessica, and all the team here at MusicBiz, we really thank you. You contribute immensely to the global music industry. You enable opportunities and connections and have certainly played a huge part on putting Jaxsta and the importance of responsible credit culture on the map. I encourage everybody in the chat to send your thanks to the MusicBiz team as well. I know that they put so much effort into these conferences, and they're so key to us all, especially in times of a pandemic. Maureen Droney, I think you're in the audience. Thanks to you and the Recording Academy as well for being a very early partner and supporter of Jaxsta. You too, as many partners, have played an immense role in Jaxsta becoming the incredible platform and community that we are today. It's a big room. I think there's going to be over 100 people attending today. And when I was looking through the attendees, I was so pleased to see many of our 250 plus data partners are here in the room. So a big warm Aussie hello to BMI, BMG, Fuga, Cobalt, Sony, Universal, Warner, and all the friends that I've met through my 25 years in the music industry. It's a pleasure to be here. I just mentioned 25 years in the music industry. I've worked in record labels since 1995. And my last decade before joining Jaxsta, I worked with Warner Music. As we all know, we all have tracks that grab us through our career, a song that really touch our hearts or makes us dance. And I thought that I might kick things off with a little bit of music for you all. So bear with me while I start sharing my screen. Henrik and Aaron and I just did a test on this, so let's hope that I win this. 1 minute. We are nearly there.
But it don't kill my vibe. Feel a little high, but I'm down for the ride. Come on, get down, get down. Come on, get down, get down. Not a lot of hate, but a whole lot of love. Spend a lot of time in the kingdom I found. Come on, get down, get down. Come on, get down, get down.
Could you all hear that okay? Have we got some thumbs up? Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Aaron. So here you can actually see me searching for this song on Jaxsta. This song was written by two amazing sisters who are called Kinder as a group. They are Bryony and Savannah. They were from Ghana and now live in Sydney. And here you can see this song come along, and it shows everybody that was involved in this song. And then Peter Holtz, who mixed the record, who is a Jaxsta Plus member, you can link off and then see everything about this amazing gentleman. Here's his bio, and then you can go onto his credits page and you can see all of the works that Peter has worked on. The ability for us to actually show everybody's work in one place is so key for people and their work. This is just one example of the 12 million profiles that are represented on Jaxsta. We are the world's home of official music credits. Our aim is to shine the light on everybody involved in the creation of music. All of our data is verified and it's from the official source. So it all comes from labels or distributors or people that represent artists directly. We've got over 250 data partners, and all of this data represents over 12 million creatives. This dashboard here is something that we look in real time. I took the screen grab this morning. So you can see here that there are over 209 million credits that have already been mapped. We know that the world is creating music every day. And as we know, there are tens of thousands of releases every week. And our map database is increasing by over 400,000 a week as well. So it's a huge destination for credits. And this is the one place that any of our 12 million total profiles that are on Jaxsta Any creator can come and claim their profile and then build that so that they can share it with their music community. To see all their work in one place themselves, but also importantly, to then share that with others. So I haven't really introduced myself fully yet. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Beth Appleton. I am originally from the UK. I have worked in Australia. This is now the third time. They call me a ping pong pom. I started work at EMI in 1995, had the pleasure of working at the iconic building in Manchester Square, where the Beatles took the photo of their album shot of the album Help. I then went on to move to Australia, where I worked at EMI. And at that time, I was e-tail marketing manager. I assisted retailers put their business online. And through that, of course, that was a really important time where, you know, you had to work with people to ensure that you were delivering them the assets to represent music correctly online. And then also through that time, of course, things were becoming where we were digitizing music. Piracy was beginning to be rife, and it was critical that the music industry found a legitimate way for fans to consume music. And we had to start by like building all of our repertoire and start delivering to it. And I'm sure that there are many in this room who played a significant part in that transition and digital revolution. Of course, we are all music fans, and way before joining the music industry, as I suspect with all of us here, I was a fan of music then and still am today. I used to love it when I'd saved up enough pocket money to be able to buy my next vinyl treat. And vinyl always, as I think we all believe, always felt really special. The first time you put that record on the turntable and placed that needle down, you then sat back, and the next thing that you did was, as well as opening your ears and your heart and your mind to the music you were about to listen to, the next thing you do was always open up that vinyl and start reading the liner notes. You used to start discovering the depth behind the music. You used to learn about the people involved in the creation of the work. You used to understand and discover the complexities of how the recording came together. This is one of my favorite albums from way back then, The Incredible Unforgettable Fire. Sadly, music is one of the only products where the digital revolution has decreased the amount of information available. We've diminished the storytelling and the representation of the talent involved in the creation of music. If we look at some of the quotes here, and actually if you Google, you know, liner notes or, you know, where are liner notes today, there aren't that many pieces in the media. I certainly think that this is a conversation that we should be covering more in the music industry, so that we do build a movement together of how we need to enable credits and have correct and complete credits published everywhere that music is in our music system. You know, if you look at this, like band members, songwriters, engineers, producers, studios, string arrangers, backing vocalists, all of these artists are being, inverted commas, erased. As technology has progressed and music has moved into the digital realm, album credits have completely disappeared. You know, these are sad words, and I certainly think that this is something that we are all working on and all passionate about, because we are passionate about everybody who is involved in the creation of every song. I'd love to get some audience participation. I know that you're all here for a reason, and I thought it might be quite interesting if we could just take a few moments to think ourselves and add in the chat, like why we feel that credits are important, and who are the advocates for credits, like who cares, and actually who should care. So let me see you go. Come on, jump in. Have you got anybody adding any thoughts? Is there anybody that needs to know about credits? Absolutely, Amy. This is how we show everybody that's involved. And of course, one song doesn't get released solely by one person. We have songwriters, we have engineers, we have producers, we have backing vocals. Why are people working in metadata? Tell me why you're here today. Don't be scared, jump in. Totally agree, Sam. The responsibility of credits is everybody's. Jackie, who's the co-founder and our beautiful CEO, was on a panel yesterday and was asked, you know, whose responsibility is it to look after credits? And absolutely, it's all of ours. I love that, Nino. I think we need to educate as well. We in the business of, you know, we need to show the importance of credits. And actually, I've met quite a few young artists and creatives that didn't even really understand credits was how they get paid. Sam, you'll like it in a moment. I'm going to show you an example of some legacy issues. That's so true, Henrik. As music geeks, it's all about the credits that tell us about the global ecosystem and all the connections. Oh, Michelle, I'd love to look into this. The need for attribution is not for the concern of the creators. It's all read this yesterday. I'll dig into that more. Yeah, of course, there, Darius, you know, credits is how you get paid, you know, and credits is how you get future work. And sadly, not all credits have been delivered correctly. You know, the responsibility of label copy and metadata being delivered correctly to all the partners that are enabling consumers to consume music is critical, especially on sync, the complex world of sync. Love this. Thank you, everybody, for contributing there. I think it's so important that we all lean in here, you know, and enable people as well. You know, if you look at the amount of repertoire that is being released, there's so many opportunities to broaden opportunities for many around the world. I'll just give you somebody's perspective who has worked on a lot of credits, the amazing Andrew Boxgod-Beluki. So I'll just take the time to share this little clip.
Hey, I'm Andrew Beluki. I'm a producer, songwriter, mixer, engineer, musician. I have worked with a lot of artists over the years, most notably Billy Ray Cyrus, Lil Nas X, Linkin Park, Fifth Harmony, Selena Gomez. It's a big list. And you know why I know that list? Because of Jaxsta. I discovered Jaxsta actually by reaching out to the Recording Academy. I was curious as to how they received the list of who worked on records. And when I reached out to them, their official answer was, we look up things on Jaxsta to figure out who did what. So I did my research, signed up for a profile immediately and made sure all of my information was correct. And one thing that I noticed was that I had credits that, one, I didn't know about, two, I was credited just with different names. Either somebody used my last name, Beluki, which a lot of people call me Beluki, other ones use my full legal name, other ones use my, you know, just first and last names, some are just VoxGod nickname. And the great thing about the site is I was able to link all of those entries together and compile them in one profile, which is something that the other sites out there, unfortunately, they don't really keep track of these things. And you kind of feel as you're working that there's a lot of moving parts, and it's almost overwhelming that I'm never going to be able to track all these things down until I found my Jaxsta profile. Before I knew it, I actually had a curated profile of all the work that I had done. And when you click on it, it's very easy to see exactly what I did. And again, I was able to find credits that I didn't know existed. It's because of Jaxsta that I was able to find that information. Nowhere else on the internet did they actually have the information correct, which is, you know, it's incredible that that's all on one site. And then I was also able to make, you know, you can curate your profile the way you want it. So I was able to not only collect all this information, make sure it was actually attributed to me, then I was able to sort by what I wanted to come up first, by like featured works, You can put the unimportant ones at the back, or the compilations and stuff that, I'm not really going to talk to anybody about, all the way at the back. The ones that I love starting conversations with, those are going in the front. And I was finally, for once, in control of how I was presenting this information to other people, which was huge because no other site allows you to do these things. So once all these things were able to be compiled into one spot, now I have one link and one profile I can send to somebody so they can see all the work that I've done. It's really important. You get a very minimal window to introduce yourself to somebody, a very minimal window to get their attention, to talk about what you've done. The more simplistic it is for you to share that information, the better chance of you making a good impact.
So Dijon, and I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, forgive me if I'm not, you ask about the role of credits in new mediums such as UGC or the metaverse, VR and AR. And again, if we have our contributions in music credited so that we've got our own ISNI number, and if we've got our own ISRC for the tracks, and then we can go to somewhere on Jaxsta and we can actually see that our repertoire is credited to ourselves, that should then flow through the agreements that the repertoire owners have got with those partners. So if I use the example of UGC, where a song is used on, let's say, YouTube, that song would have been tracked through the repertoire owner, and assuming that you as an individual have got your credit on that particular track, those funds should flow through. But at the same time, the important piece is to know that as a creative involved in that song, that you are actually credited on it in order for that to flow through. A lot more complex, that's a top line piece, and I'm sure there's some much better experts in the room that could deliver further on that. So if you are and you want to answer to that, maybe we could come back to that in the Q&A. This is me just searching here for Louis Scherl's profile. Louis is the co-founder with Jackie of Jaxsta. He has got A+ membership, as many of our profiles are. And this means that he can actually curate his profile, so he can put all of his key releases at the top. You can see there on the right-hand side, all of his releases. He can add his bio, so he can control how he represents himself. He can add all of his contacts that are important to him and the work that he does. And importantly as well, he can set up alerts, be those chart alerts or credit alerts, so that as any of the songs that he's worked on are released, he can set that up so he receives an email into his inbox to either say that it has been released, because sometimes songs might get released a long time after people have worked on them, or when they're charting as well, so that they can see when things are charting around the world, and again, that they can see that they're getting paid for them. Interestingly, in talking to some managers, compilations, whilst they're not as common anymore, are really important when people have tracks put on compilations, because those might not have got the correct credits on. And of course, those funds need to flow through. And also on Jaxsta, we have a partnership with Songtrader. I think Songtrader might be in the room today as well. Hello. Where you can go and claim your neighboring rights to ensure that you're getting revenues from overseas as well. Let me move on. I've just got a little snippet from Louis, because as a producer, he's gone through the evolution of how getting work has changed. And I think he puts this quite succinctly. Here we go.
Where credit's due to me is my whole career. It's my resume. It's where my next gig comes from. It's how people find out what I did and how to get in touch with me. I've been working in the music industry for about 15 years.
I feel that that wasn't playing for you. Am I correct? I'm going to try again.
Years now, and I moved here in 2002 to study audio engineering, and then I built this. Where credit's due to me is my whole career. It's my resume. It's where my next gig comes from. It's how people find out what I did and how to get in touch with me. I've been working in the music industry for about 15 years now, and I moved here in 2002 to study audio engineering, and then I built this recording studio here, and that was just in the middle of the transition of physical music to digital music, and a whole transition happened where credit got lost, and I had to get work through advertising and street media because there was no other way for people to find out what I had worked on. Eventually I managed to get actual proper recording work and production work, but it took a very long time, and I'm quite certain that if something like Jaxsta had been around at that time, that would have been a lot easier for me to get recognized for my work.
I'm so privileged now to be working at Jaxsta. I'm only in month 3, and it's been an amazing journey. After working in the music industry for 25 years and in looking for my next career adventure, when I met Jackie, who is our wonderful CEO and co-founder, and I began discovering the value that Jaxsta is providing to the global music community, I knew that becoming Chief Marketing Officer for them was the right thing for me. As I've met creatives, songwriters, engineers, producers, and artists and people involved in the music, and realize how complex the world is for them to actually get recognized, I could see that Jaxsta was an amazing place for me to be. I believe in transparency and parity and equity. They're fundamental values that I believe in. And I feel that as an industry, we can do this right. Our goals, and I'm sure for many of you as well, is to drive transparency of work and credits. We need to enable payment and fair distribution of revenues, and we need to do that through effective song management. You know, by doing that, we can unlock global recording opportunities for so many creatives around the world. There shouldn't be a few that get recognized and are on the pedestal, so to speak. We can have parity and huge opportunities for collaborations and working together, and we together can unlock that ecosystem and enable talent to promote themselves and their work. And I'm passionate about us together building momentum. And similarly to, you know, early 2000s, when piracy was rife and the industry worked together to actually work how we could build a legitimate music consumption model, I believe now that we need to work together to build a credit culture that is responsible. I'm just going to show you another little example here. I believe that we might have the amazing label ABCO represented here today. This is about going into depth of catalogue as well. I'm just going to have a little search here for the incredible Sam Cooke. And you can see that when you look at Sam Cooke, look, over like nearly 3,000 releases, 6,642 songs, or versions of songs, of course, that he's written. Then if we look at one of his most incredible songs, Bring It On Home, which we can just do a little search here, we can then see all the people who've recorded a version of that song. And this applies to any song, any release, of course, of the 200 million credits that we've got on Jaxsta. Just going to look here at Sam as the main artist. And then when you go into that song, you can see all the details. There are some songs that have got, you know, over 40 contributors, which is why it's so key that everybody is recognized and maybe not just a few. And it's important that platforms that distribute music, you know, cover everybody that's involved in the song. It's kind of insulting to only cover maybe 3 if that's all the space requires. That's a wrong, not a right. Like, if we're going to credit, we need to credit everybody in a full way. So I know that we've got some students here in the room. I saw Andrew, welcome. And of course, we're all music fans, and really, you know, the education piece is really key. The way that people consume and enjoy music will, of course, keep evolving. That's like a natural course of life and a history that we've all gone through. But what we do know is that we love music, that it enlightens our life, that it gives us solace, that it gives us belief, and how people consume music will change. But we need to ensure that it doesn't become just a meme, or it isn't dispensable, and that we don't lose the recordings and the credits associated with those songs and recordings through time. We need to continue growing and delivering opportunity for talent. And we always need to enable this with parity. I talk about movement. I believe that we can create a credit movement. We need to bring fans along with us. We need to educate and build that. When fans are proud to be engaged in crediting, they become our ultimate advocates. We always need to be discovering the depth behind the songs, because that's the reason the songs exist. So I hope that together we can create a catalyst, where we're all shouting for credits, and that there's absolute kudos in being an advocate of credits, and that we're all talking loudly and consistently about the importance of credits. In terms of, as well, just credits, it's not only about being represented, but it's also about discovering who you might want to work with next. And of course, that might have been a network in a city, or it might have been through a label or your publisher or your management company. But now that we're in the global space that we are, and also where we're not able to travel as much as possible, it's like, how do you network and how do you find out who you might want to work with? And I've just got a lovely clip here from Mr. Mitch Allen, who can take that a little bit further. Let's hope this audio works.
Hi, my name is Mitch Allen. I'm a producer, songwriter, and I live in Los Angeles, California. These days, I love to collaborate. I love to collaborate with songwriters. I love to collaborate with producers. Obviously, I'm always collaborating with artists. But for a long time, I didn't know who was responsible for some of my favorite songs. I'd have to really do a deep dive. I'd have to ask a bunch of people. The best part about Jaxsta is if I hear a song on new music, and I type the song into Jaxsta, and within 30 seconds, I know who co-wrote the song, who produced the song. I literally get on the phone with my manager, and I'm like, yo, book me some sessions with this songwriter, book me a session with this producer, who mixed this song. I want them to try a mix on this new record that I'm working on. There's no other faster way for me to figure out who I should be in the room with. I personally think it's vital that Jaxsta has the official credits, because that just means you can trust them. Those are the credits coming from the label. Those are the approved credits. It's the actual credits. Those are the people that actually worked on that record, that wrote that record. You don't have to second guess. And you pretty much don't need any other source. You can just take one look and Here's the funny thing about Jaxsta. When I put a song out and I'm working with an artist and the record comes out, I usually think, oh, well, that's the record, it came out, and then I move on, there's new records to make. When I go up on Jaxsta, I see that song ended up on 20 different compilations. I never knew those compilations came out, so suddenly there's 20 other records with that song on it that I can go back to my publisher and I can be like, hey, is there revenue coming in from these 20 different albums where they included the songs on it? It's funny how a great song goes everywhere. I didn't know that it got released in so many different places. Jaxsta kind of gave me that information.
So I think Mitch uncovered there, the piece which is about having equity everywhere. Not only might it be that your credit hasn't been delivered back because it was on a compilation, to Mitch's example, but sometimes, unfortunately, credits might be incorrect. They might have spelt your name wrong, or they might have not included somebody, which is critical. So just another audience participation piece, if you'd like to join in, like what is the process that the music industry has currently? Like, how do we fix credits if we come across something that's incorrect? What do people do? Are there any artists or creatives or managers here? Like, is there a solution here? And what is our responsibility? Do we just assume it's wrong, or should we all be out there fixing? Jump in. So maybe this is a complex one. Of course, the metadata comes from it's a nightmare, totally, Hilton. By the way, Hilton, I checked out your profile on Jaxsta, so please reach out to us. We'd love you to become a Jaxsta Plus member, and then we can merge your profiles. But, you know, that nightmare needs a process. And again, like Ashley, I know that there might be PROs here on the call, you know, on the meeting, but we need to enable, and Jaxsta certainly is a party that wants to enable this. We actually have part of our platform where if you see that you're not on a piece of music that you should be credited on, you can then reach out through Jaxsta, and then we liaise with our 250 plus data partners to get that corrected. So once it's corrected, it then flows to everywhere that that repertoire is being fed to. This is something that we know has become so valuable for, you know, the creatives that have their profiles and manage that through Jaxsta. And one thing I'd like to share is that we've got an incredible consumer service team led by Michael Holmes, who will run demos at any time for creatives, labels, management companies, and also they're there to help people clean up their profiles and clean up their credits as well. I'm just going to share now, if I may, a lovely clip from the incredible Baines, who's a multi-platinum winner. Let me just take you through his experience in that space. Oh, bear with me.
I'm Baines. I'm a mixer and an engineer, and I work in LA. I'd say when I was starting out, I don't think I was thinking about the credits as much as just doing a lot of work. And at some point I realized that I've done so many songs this year, and I don't know where to, like, if I have to show someone or prove to someone that this is what I've done, it doesn't exist. A lot of times I forget, or I don't know if a record has come out or something like that. Now with Jaxsta, I just go to Jaxsta and I have all my credits, and I'm like, oh yeah, that came out. And here, oh look at this, this record is charting in this country. I get an email every time a record that I've done is charting. That bit is the coolest bit. That is my favorite feature, to find out when your records are charting. A lot of these records do well in different countries as well that you never know about. Like, in fact, today on my way here, I was like, oh, this video is still #1 in Finland. That's crazy. For me personally, it's motivation. There's some days that this job is easy, some days that it's hard. When you see a record doing well, it motivates you and it keeps morale up. It's just a great morale booster, and it's almost a validation that what you're doing and all the hours and time spent is, you know, people resonate with it, and you're doing it for a reason. Oh, another really cool thing that Jax has been helping me do is amend some of these things. Like when there is a typo in my name, and like you don't know what A&R to reach out to, or what person at the label to constantly bother, because it's not high on their list of priorities. Jaxsta was able to reach out and like send the information, and then the label will verify it, and then it's just done officially, but at least there's someone that's handling the whole process for you and able to follow up and see through the things and just get it to the right avenues that you won't necessarily know how to do yourself. Having official credits that can validate that I've done X amount of projects and that they've done relatively well is what's gonna put faith in the next big artist or their management or the A&R to hire me to mix their record.
I know that we've got quite a varied audience today, so I hope that this has been relevant to all or most. The other thing that I just wanted to add to is that, of course, with our huge global music ecosystem, there are so many ways for people to enjoy music. And every time a song is published or part of a value chain or part of a game or part of a music service, it's so key that we associate the credits with that recording. Jaxsta has an API. It has taken 8 years to get our 200+ million credits verified. Every credit is verified, it's not crowdsourced. So the API enables other companies then to access that verified data and connect it with their business and connect it in the way that they're publishing songs. So if that is of interest to anybody, please reach out to me so that we can build a powerful ecosystem together. Our mission is that we have credits integrated everywhere a song is published or part of a value chain. We need to ensure accuracy of participants and producers and songwriters by always associating tracks to the original releases and compositions. We want to, of course, improve discovery for all wherever that is. And our API can provide that feed to other platforms. So I draw to a close. I think there's a new day coming, you know, with technology and with the way that we can now manage credits, you know, through a value chain. It's a great conversation that has been had at many levels. In conversations that I've had with many people, we talk about this being the conversation of the decade. This will be the, you know, the piece that we all sort of start driving through. But ultimately, it's all of our responsibility to ensure that credits are not only valued, but are accurate and published and amplified. I personally have seen at Jaxsta that when producers or engineers, mixers or songwriters discover their works on Jaxsta and that they're connected on a profile that they own, that they feel a sense of relief. It's like, oh, there's all my work and I don't have to pull this all together. And gratitude for the help that Jaxsta is delivering and the care that the music industry can have for them. That isn't always felt. So we need to amplify and accelerate the existence to connect the global community of creatives and give them the stage to shine on. And I'd love to hope that, you know, we as an audience can take part in that. If you do work with creatives, if you are a creative, if you're a label, please go and sign up for Jaxsta, of course. It's jaxsta.com, and get yourself a Plus membership so that you can own your profile or the profiles of the creatives that you represent. But otherwise, thank you for your time today, and I'll stop sharing and we can jump into a bit of a Q&A. Thank you, Henrik.
And we could say it 100 times at this point, but thank you, Beth, and thank you, Jaxsta, for sharing your time and your knowledge and for everything that you're doing for the industry right now. It's super valuable, super important. Looks like we do have one open question in the Q&A. Folks, if anything comes up, feel free to drop it in the Q&A box and we'll answer it in the remaining time we have here.
So the question there from Hilton, does Jaxsta deliver metadata to DSPs? No, so we don't do that, Hilton. That's each label and publishers, they do that directly through their commercial agreements because they represent the rights of the recording. We get exactly that same metadata. So we then connect that so that you can see all of your recordings in one place. So we don't distribute audio or videos. We just connect the metadata. Does that make sense? And then Chris, does Jaxsta allow you to keep track of the deeper metadata of all the creditors? So Chris, if I understand you correctly, do you mean that if, for example, you work with, let's say, Hilton, and Hilton wrote a song for you that you could then connect to Hilton and what he does? If that's what you do mean, yes, every piece of metadata that is delivered from the labels is mapped within Jaxsta. But please take a look, and then if you want a fuller demo or if you've got any questions for me, just reach out. My emails. Oh, okay, great. So we've got ISRCs, UPCs, publishing info is going to be coming very soon. But maybe reach out, Chris. Let's have a chat. My email's beth.appleton@jaxsta.com. Do you intend to make credits for song segments available? So again, Andak, if that's how the metadata is delivered, that you could see both, then the answer is yes. And then this is something that we should be ensuring, you know, at the recording level, that the metadata is broken down that way so that everybody can see everybody who contributed. That'd be amazing, right? So if you could see, right, okay, I'm looking for a great guitarist, and you can go and see both and then see what else they've worked on it. I agree.
It looks like we have one more question in the chat too from Jonathan. Does Jaxsta plan to take a fee from DistroKid and other self-distribution services?
Hello, Jonathan. How are you? We have got key distribution services, and we have got very exciting news coming very soon on that matter. Does that kind of answer your question, Jonathan, in the way that I can answer it? And then I think Jimmy's just great to see you too. Is Jaxsta working with voice providers, Amazon and Google, to enrich voice experiences? Oh, Jimmy, I love this question. I myself have tested my own Alexa. Amazon actually do quite a good job in representing credits. It's a little bit clumsy, forgive me for my own personal experience there when it comes to using Alexa. It does work sometimes, but we're in conversations with them. But if you want to let Amazon know that that is what you would love to see, certainly Jaxsta can provide that solution.
All right, looks like we've wrapped up with everyone here. Once again, want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Thank you for your attention and thanks for participating along. And thank you again, Beth, for representing Jaxsta and sharing your time and insights with us. It was great to have you, and look forward to talking with Jaxsta in the future.
Thank you so much, everybody. Stay in touch. We're here to help.